can't buy happiness, but it can buy me a boat. It can buy me a truck to pull it. It can buy me a Yeti 110 house down with some silver bullets. Yeah, and I know what they say, money can't buy everything. Well, maybe so, but it can buy me a boat.
Welcome to another episode of The Boat Boss. My name is Kim Swears. I'm the host of Boat Boss, and I'm also one of the managing partners of FB Marine Group, one of America's top 100 dealerships. What is Boat Boss? We sit down each week with some of the top CEOs and executives from around the world, and we talk about how they live, work, and play on the water. And they tell us their secret sauce to their success. Well, today I am super excited to introduce you to a dear friend of mine and also a colleague in the boat business, Doug West, who's the president and CEO of Lauderdale Marine Center, the largest super yacht yard and facility in America. So Doug, welcome to Boat Boss.
Thank you, Kim. Well, I'm very happy to be here.
It's a great day, right?
It's beautiful.
Well, thanks
We're on the water.
I know, right? It's probably snowing somewhere. If you guys are watching from anywhere around the country, it's probably 10 and 12 inches of snow. And look at this backdrop. It's beautiful. So Doug, tell us about yourself. I'm from South Florida, born and raised. And you're from Texas?
I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas.
Nice.
I'm a
And
Billy Bob.
I just started listening to country music, so it's not that bad. Billy Bobs are okay. So your family, you're still there?
I have 4 brothers. They're all still there.
Oh, wow.
And 2 children. One is 35, the other is 31. The 35-year-old lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay.
And my daughter, who's 31, lives in Austin.
And so what are their names?
Kelly is my son, Claire is my daughter.
Very nice. And you have a grandson I saw?
I actually have 2, a 2.5-year-old and a 5-month-old, and a baby a granddaughter on the way. That'll be right after the first of the year.
That's great. Well, Kenny and Claire are doing a good job of keeping Dad happy, keeping him busy. Well, let's talk about what you do for fun. You have your kids, your grandkids, your kids. What do you do besides that when you're not doing all this?
So it's a bit challenging to have a lot of free time these days because I have about an hour commute each way. I live up north of here, and I get here around 6:30, 6:45 in the morning, and I leave here 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. So my only free time is really weekends, and my wife and I like to go on bike rides, go to the beach, go hang at the pool. So
that's good. Well, I've actually texted him at 4 a.m. and he's actually responded, so I know you're up that early. They say successful people wake up at 4 a.m., so good job on that.
Yeah, thank you.
So
you were up very early this morning.
Yes, I was. I go to bed early. All right, let's talk about college football. I was a college athlete. You were a college athlete. Tell me about that experience.
So, as I said, I grew up in Fort Worth, and as you know, in high school, if you had any talent whatsoever, you were a superstar in high school.
Sure.
Then when you go off to college, everybody is at least at the same level, if not higher. So it's like, I remember the first day I showed up there, in the first 2-a-day practice, I'm watching some of these guys, and I'm going, I may have made a mistake.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can keep up, but it was it was a very awakening experience, and I really learned about what it takes to be successful in those days, because everybody had, as I said, talents, and the people that really separated themselves were the ones that worked hard and planned and were just ready to compete.
So take us from college. You graduate college. You're a big football star on a scholarship. So you guys need to train hard to get scholarships. Well worth it. Your parents will thank you. So you go on a full scholarship to University of Houston. And then what happens after that? You enter into corporate America?
Well, so I went to the University of Houston, and back then, as I was graduating college, was when we had the big oil issue when gasoline was going to 50 cents a gallon. And back in those days, all the gas stations were full serve. So I went to work for a company that was a gasoline retailer that was starting self-service gasoline stations.
Wow.
And I became a multi-unit manager, and did that for several years. And my boss there was recruited away to go to work for Blockbuster in the early 90s.
Sure, you're very aware of that.
Once he got there, he called me and said, "Hey, you should come over here and try this out." So I moved to Blockbuster in 1992 and started out on the video side.
Blockbuster Video, home in South Florida, located in South Florida.
And then we started acquiring music stores and building music stores of our own. So I moved over to the music division. And then a few years later, we merged with Viacom. And at that time, Wayne had decided to start a new company called AutoNation. So several of us moved
Another South Florida company.
moved over to AutoNation, and I was there for a few years. And then some guys that I had worked with early on in Blockbuster and I decided to go start a new company. So it was called Car Spa. We based it out of Dallas, and it's car washes with a gas station, quick lube, convenience store. And we opened, I think, almost 30 of those throughout the U.S. And then a couple other guys that I worked with at Blockbuster, we started another new company called Xpress Cash Financial Services, which is the payday loan business. And we opened about 65 of those locations in 7 different states. And then I was there when I got a call from Carlos Figuera, who's Wayne Jr.'s partner at Rybovich, and they asked me to come look at Rybovich and see if I could help them set that business up. So I told them when I first got there, I don't know anything about boats. So I'll be more than happy to come see what I can do, but I don't know if I'm the guy long term. So after a while, we figured out that I could help him out, and became president there. And was there for 9 years. And then, right after the Carlisle Group bought this place, one of my brothers, who's an investment banker, knows some of the guys at Carlisle. Through their conversations, they found out about me and called me and asked me to come take a look at this place, and the rest is history.
Well, Wayne and I, Wayne Hazenga, who is your old boss, was my mentor. I knew him later on in life when his wife and I fought cancer together, and we became very close. But Wayne always said, I always said, give me one tip of advice, and he said, always hire people smarter than him.
Right.
And that's that was his one word to me. And I was in an elevator, and I found out he was Dutch. And that, all these different things. He went to Pinecrest. So I only had 15 seconds to talk to him. And that was the one thing he told me, his advice.
Right.
So he obviously hired you and made a great decision on that.
Well, thank you.
So let's transition into LMC. I'm going to show a quick video about LMC, and we're going to talk about what is LMC and how you built it into this amazing powerhouse. So roll video.
I got mine on both sides.
Go for
Lauderdale Marine Center uses a marketplace model where you choose who you work with without any contractor markups, gate, or hidden fees. LMC has a diverse group of on-site tenants, including over 20 contractors representing all primary shipyard trades, brokerage, a yacht chandlery and ship store, as well as several international builders' after-sales service centers. LMC is the best place to show and preview vessels year-round. Lauderdale Marine Center was designated as the first U.S. Marine Foreign Trade Zone, where foreign flag vessels can be shown to U.S. buyers without ever leaving LMC or U.S. waters. Lauderdale Marine Center, a yard above.
Such a fantastic video. You have to be really proud of that.
We are, absolutely, we are.
So LMC wasn't always this grandiose. I mean, it was in its day many decades ago. Let's talk about the history before we get into the now. Right. So can you talk about how it was the naval, contracts, and then how it went to yacht building before we get into where it is now?
So that was the Dennison family, and that was back in the 40s, and they won a contract to build the Navy minesweepers here. And they did that for a few years. I don't remember how many they delivered, but it was several.
It was 11 that I read, yeah.
And then they moved into building Broward yachts, and they did that for several more years. Their home was here.
Wow, on this 8 miles.
Yeah.
It's a huge property.
And then I'm not sure where they moved to, but they relocated, and there was another group, Dr. Passon and Mario Mito, that partnered, and they bought one parcel here and started LMC, and they assembled many other properties adjacent to here. It's now a little over, or just under 60 acres. And they assembled all those and built the foundation for Lauderdale Marine Center, and then they sold it to the Carlisle Group in 2015, and that's when I came on. And the Carlisle Group, this was at the time their first marine asset, so they didn't really understand the business. They just knew that it had recurring revenue and expenses were steady, they weren't variable. So they liked the cash flow, so they decided to invest in it. So they asked me when I got here, what can we do here? So I looked at it as, I have a blank slate here, so let me start. So I looked at the layout. I looked at what size boats were coming here. There really wasn't an identity. There was just a bunch of space for boats. So we defined who we wanted our target customer to be. And then we went and did some research on what those customers look for in a facility, what's most important to them, what amenities they want, and just the things that were most important. And then I went back to them and said, we have plenty of room to do what we need to do, but it's going to cost some money because we've got to bring in new power, we've got to reconfigure slips, we've got to redo the docks. So about $35 million later, we have what we have today, which is just over 200 spaces for boats, about half in water, half out of water. It used to be really just a shipyard. Now it's a shipyard and a marina, so that boats don't have to leave. Once the work's done, they can stay and get ready for trips here because they can go into an area where not a lot of work is being done.
So we talk about, you're the first. I love first. I'm a big first. So you're first. So I'm a twin. So I was the first twin. So it sort of comes after that. So first foreign trade zone. That is a huge accomplishment. First one in the United States, I believe, right? Tell us about that.
So this was done between the Marine Industries Association of South Florida and Customs and Border Protection and the airport group, and I don't remember the name, I'm sorry, but they worked on getting Fort Lauderdale and places along the Intercoastal and New River approved. So once we found out about it, we said, absolutely, we want to be part of this because we understood all the intricacies about showing boats to U.S. citizens and closing boats offshore, those types of things. So we invested heavily into doing all the groundwork to be able to become a foreign trade zone. And after it was about 6 months, we had everything, all of our business plan, everything was presented to customs, and they approved us. And as soon as it was approved for Fort Lauderdale, they awarded us the first one.
You have to be so excited
Yes,
about that.
it's awesome.
So the marketplace model is one that you don't see very often.
No, you don't.
So was that your idea?
No,
that was
the previous owners had already
Okay.
set it up that way.
Okay.
So in addition to the 201 spaces for boats that we have here, we have about 150,000 square feet of workshop space and office space that we rent to tenants. So they already had contractors here. They had influencers here. What we did with that was, as we did our research and we found out what was important to boats about what kind of contractors, what services, we had to fine tune the tenant mix. So back then we had 72 tenants. Today we have 36, so half. We actually have more space to rent, but half the tenants of those original 72, only 15 are still here. Not that the others were bad, it just wasn't the right mix for the customers that we were trying to attract. So we wanted to bring in companies that we could partner with, that we work together to control the whole customer experience and to drive more boats here. So that's really what it's all about.
Well, you've done a great job in delivering the customer experience, and that through your policies and procedures of your program, the marketplace program, and the approved vendor program. We're an approved vendor as FB Marine Group, and I remember the meeting when I first met you, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" He's like Army General walking in, and I knew that we had a lot ahead of us, and it was a long process, but it was well worth it. So hats off to you and your team for creating this amazing environment. We're not just the public, but the yacht owner and the captains and everyone involved. So good job on that.
On the requirements that we put in place for contractors to work here, we didn't define those. We reached out to several of the contractors that were already working here. We put this group together. It was our contractor advisory council. We said, look, if we want these professional companies to work on the boats to make sure boats keep coming to Fort Lauderdale, what should their requirements be? So that was us as a group putting that together. And yeah, when we first introduced them, we got some pushback. But everything that we asked for, we provided them sample documents. And if you make it your own, that's fine. It wasn't. And we have a health, safety, and environmental department. Will provide all the safety training, everything. We tried to make it like we're not asking you to do something that we're not willing to do ourselves, and we're going to help you get there.
Well, there's a saying that you improve yourself, you better yourself by helping others, and that is a classic example of you creating your destiny. You basically helped all your vendors become better and raise the bar.
Right.
And in the end, you delivered an amazing customer experience.
Thank you.
Good for you. Let's talk about the amenities, the fun stuff. I mean, I come to Yacht all the time. It's one of my favorite lunch spots. So let's talk about, as a tenant or the public, what's available here at Lauderdale Marine Center.
So first thing we did was we built a gym for the crew. If you know about these bigger boats, they're stuck on the boats. When they go to the boat yard, this is not where they want to be. That's not why they took the job. They took the job because they wanted to go see the world and be on the water. So when they come to the shipyard, most of the boats have a fitness center within the boat, but it's not really not what they want. So we built a gym for them so that they could work out. And then the next thing that we knew we needed to do was we needed to give them a place where they could kind of socialize together. So when we were reconfiguring the marina, we realized we had this big platform, because of the way the seawall was configured, we weren't going to be able to put slips here. So we said,
that's what we're on right now.
This is a great entertainment area. It's about 4,500 square feet. Let's build a bar out there. So easier said than done. We had to go through the City of Fort Lauderdale design and review committee to get approval. That took almost a year, but they finally approved it. And then we found Mike Linder of Silver Lining and the Jet Runway Cafe, and we asked him to come operate the restaurant bar, and it's been great ever since. This place is very popular.
It is. It is. Well, if you have not been yet to Yacht, it's YOT, not Yacht, spelled the normal way. Highly recommended. Sunday brunch, weekend, Friday nights. It is the spot in town. Sort of like a secret. So I'm letting out my secret. So you better make sure I get a table though whenever I go.
I'll hook you up.
All right, good. Let's talk about the lifts, the big green monsters that I see all over the place. Let's talk about those.
So that was one of the things when we were looking at who our target customer was. We had several boats that were coming here each year that were too heavy for us to lift. So we thought, let's just run the numbers and see if we can haul those boats out. And based on the average stay for these boats when we haul them out, does it make sense? It was a very quick payback on that. So we decided to put in the Beast, the 485 ton lift. And we also decided at the same time, there was the 300 ton lift that was already here, used to be operated from the west side of the property. So there was already a haul out well there. And we said, well, let's get an in-between lift in between the 100 ton that we already had and the 485. So let's do 220. Yeah, so that would be called Brutus. And the other thing that we noticed that we watched every time we hauled the boat, the crew members are all taking pictures.
Right.
So we thought, let's make these lifts, let's design them so that when they're taking pictures, everybody knows where they are. So we named them and we made them really bright lime green. So there is no question when pictures are on the social media where these where these boats
NASA called and said that they can see them. I think it's one of the natural wonders of the world is here at Lauderdale Marine Center. So good call on that. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a few questions and then we're going to wrap the show up because he's got to get back to work. He's got a busy job. Okay, secrets to your success. One thing or a few things that you can say that got you to where you are today.
So it goes back to when the first day that I showed up for 2-a-days in college, and I looked around at the talent that was there, and I'm going, I will never be able to compete. But one of the things that I noticed was the starting receivers and the starting quarterback and running backs. So you have 2 practices a day, and both those practices are about 3 hours long, and you watch film in between. But before each practice, the morning and the afternoon, these guys are running 2 miles, just laps around the field. And I'm going, so they're putting in that extra effort, that hard work to be prepared. So that's kind of, and I had a strong work ethic growing up. I learned it from my father and my grandfather. So it just kind of reinstilled that hard work is going to pay off.
Massive actions equals massive results, and you can definitely tell you're that type of guy. Okay, favorite yacht brand or one that you've had hosted here at the marina?
Today I have 164 favorite yachts. That's how many boats we have here.
It's 164. I love it. Okay, that's a good answer. Good answer, Doug. All right, tender brand.
Well, so again, I'm not a boat person, so I asked our group this morning, and the consensus was the Wally tender.
The Wally,
built by the Ferretti Group.
Okay,
who's one of our tenants here, by the way.
Okay, well, that's another good answer. All right. Well, I have totally enjoyed our conversation, Doug, and I'm probably going to stay for lunch. I hope you join me. I always want to sign off the show by saying, define your dreams, go after them, get on the water, whether you own a boat, rent a boat, sit here at Yacht and look at a boat, get on the water, because there's nothing better than a lifestyle on the water. So let's get back to work. Let's send you all home. Go back to work and make it an epic day. And Doug, you do the same. Have an epic day.
Thank you very much.
Take care.